The prison hall was silent, filled only with the faint hum of cold metal walls and the distant echo of heavy boots. Evan sat on the floor of his cell, staring at the dim blue light that flickered above him. He had been locked inside this alien prison for so long that he no longer knew if it was day or night. His body ached, his clothes were torn, and hope felt like a memory he could barely recall. Then he heard it, a loud crash, sharp clang, voices shouting in a harsh alien language. Evan slowly stood up, moving closer to the bars of his cell. Something was happening outside. Something unusual. The guards never made this much noise unless they were bringing in a new prisoner, or removing one forever. He pressed his ear against the cold bars. Footsteps grew louder. Metal scraped on metal. 2 alien guards appeared, dragging someone across the floor. Sparks trailed behind their boots, lighting the dark corridor. As they came closer, Evan saw what they were pulling. It wasn't a human. It wasn't an alien either. It was an android, a female-formed android, tall but damaged beyond recognition. Her left leg was partly crushed, wires exposed like veins. Her chest plate was cracked, and faint blue light leaked from inside. Her fingers twitched weakly, as if fighting to stay alive. One of her eyes was dim, the other completely dark. The guards stopped in front of Evan's cell and laughed in their deep, rumbling voices. "Human." One guard grunted, "You get a new friend." "A useless one." The other guard hit the android on the back with the end of his stun rod. "She is broken. No danger." He pushed the cell door open and threw her inside like she weighed nothing. The android crashed to the ground, her head hitting the metal floor with a painful clang. Evan stepped back, unsure if she was dangerous or harmless. The guards slammed the cell door shut and walked away, their laughter echoing down the hallway. The android didn't move. For a long moment, the cell was quiet again. Evan kept his distance, watching her carefully. She lay on her side, sparks flickering from her shoulder. Her breathing, if androids even breathed, was slow and uneven. "She's broken," Evan whispered to himself. "Just another prisoner. Or maybe they dumped her here to get rid of her." But then something strange happened. Her fingers twitched again. Not randomly, purposefully. Her hands slowly lifted from the ground and formed the shape 3 fingers curled. 2 fingers pointed. Evan's heart skipped a beat. It was a code. A human code. A silent symbol used by soldiers to say, "Not safe. Stay quiet." Evan froze. How could an android know that symbol? And why would she send it to him? Before he could react, her eye, only the damaged one, flickered for a single second. A bright blue flash, quick like lightning. Evan didn't understand it, but he felt it meant something. Something important. He looked toward the hallway, making sure no guards were returning. The prison was silent again. Slowly, Evan approached the android. He kept his voice low. "Hey, can you hear me?" No answer. He knelt beside her, gently shaking her arm. "Are you alive? Are you functioning?" Still no reply, but her hand moved again, this time scratching tiny marks onto the dusty floor. Evan watched as her finger traced 4 short lines. Then 1 long line. 5 marks total. 5 minutes. Evan swallowed hard. Whatever message she was trying to give him, he didn't know if it meant danger or hope. But it was clear she was not as broken as the guards believed. Her body shuddered once. A burst of sparks shot out, and she fell still again. Evan stepped back, breathing fast. Who was she? Why was she sent here? And why did she know human signals? He looked again at the door. The guards were out of sight. The hallway was silent. But in the shadows, something felt wrong, like the air was heavier. Watching him, this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a random prisoner transfer. Someone put her in his cell on purpose. Evan didn't know it yet. But this damaged android was not a prisoner. She was a messenger, a weapon, a rescuer, and her arrival marked the beginning of something far bigger than either of them understood. As the flickering light above them dimmed again, Evan whispered to himself, "Why are you here? And what are you trying to tell me?" The android's hand twitched one last time, pointing weakly toward the locked door. As if warning him, "They will return." And so the real story began. The damaged android lay motionless on the cold metal floor. Her lights were dim, her body still, and her breathing, if it could even be called breathing, was slow and uneven. To anyone else, she looked dead, completely shut down. A piece of useless, broken machinery. But Evan had seen the signals. He knew she wasn't fully gone. Someone wanted her to reach him. He sat a few steps away from her, trying to calm his thoughts. His mind raced with questions. Why was she sent here? Who programmed her to use human signals? And why such secrecy? Minutes passed. The blue light above flickered again. A distant alarm beeped somewhere in the prison. Evan leaned closer to the android. "If you can hear me," he whispered softly, "move your hand again. Just once." No movement. He sighed and sat with his back against the wall. The cold metal pressed into his spine. He had been alone for so long that even the presence of a silent android felt strange, almost comforting. Just as he closed his eyes for a moment, he heard a faint sound, a whisper, very soft, almost like a broken speaker crackling to life. "Who? Man?" Evan's eyes shot open. He turned toward her, stunned. Her body hadn't moved, but her lips, a thin metal line, had shifted slightly. He crawled closer. You can talk?" Her voice came again, broken and weak, like a machine forcing its last energy forward. "Do not fear." Evan stared in disbelief. The android didn't look capable of speech, yet her voice, though faint, carried purpose. Controlled, not random malfunction. She continued. "Power. Low, remaining systems. Hidden. Evan repeated. "Why are you hiding your systems?" Her fingers twitched again. "Guards. Scan for activity. They must believe I am broken." Evan's heart began to race. So she was pretending. And she had fooled the guards completely. He whispered, "Why are you here? Why put you in my cell?" For a moment, she didn't answer. Her body shook lightly, like she was struggling to maintain consciousness. Then slowly, her damaged eye lit up. Not bright this time. A soft, controlled glow. "I came for you." Evan felt a chill crawl up his arms. "For me? Why?" Her voice glitched. "Mission. Classified. Until safe." "Safe?" Evan looked around the dark cell. "This place is the opposite of safe." She made a small sound, like a metallic sigh. "Safety, temporary. Guards. Far. Listening devices. Offline for now." "How do you know that?" "My sensors still work," she whispered. "I detect frequencies, heat signatures, and surveillance breaks." Evan could not believe it. This android wasn't just some damaged machine. She was advanced, far beyond anything he had ever seen before the war. He leaned in closer. "Tell me, who sent you?" She didn't respond at first. Her head turned slowly, looking at the cell door, then at the hallway. Only when she confirmed no one was approaching did she speak again. "Your people sent me." "My people?" Evan repeated. "Humans? But humans don't have this kind of tech. Not anymore. Not since the invasion." Her voice grew slightly stronger, as if the truth itself was fueling her systems. "You are not simply a prisoner, Evan. You are important. More important than they know. Than you know." Evan shook his head. "Important? I'm nobody. I'm just a survivor. No, she said. Her voice leveled for a moment, almost normal. You carry information. Valuable, dangerous. Information. Evan stared at her, confusion turning into fear. I don't understand. What information? She tilted her head slightly. Memory. Fractured, lost, but still inside you. They imprisoned you. To extract it. Evan felt his throat tighten. I don't remember anything like that. You will, she said softly. When the right moment comes. Evan backed up, overwhelmed. You're telling me someone wiped my memory? That I know something the aliens want? She nodded weakly. Yes, and my task is to free you. Before they find a way to take it from you. He stared at her in shock. Free me? How? You can barely move. Suddenly her eye flickered again, brighter this time. Systems. Rebooting. Slowly. When guards believe I am broken, they relax security. That is when we escape. Evan felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. But it didn't last. Loud metal clang echoed through the prison halls. The android's eye dimmed instantly. Her body went completely still. She looked dead again. Perfectly broken. Evan moved back quickly and pretended he had been sitting alone the whole time. The footsteps came closer. The shadows grew longer. Someone was returning. The android had warned him. Not safe. Evan braced himself. Part of him believed her now. Part of him feared the truth even more. Whatever she was here to do. Whatever he carried inside his memory. This was only the beginning. The footsteps grew louder, echoing against the metal walls like slow, heavy drums. Evan kept his eyes fixed on the floor, forcing his breathing to stay calm. The android beside him looked perfectly lifeless again, her light gone, her body stiff, her circuits silent. If he hadn't spoken to her moments ago, he would have believed she was dead. The cell door shook as a guard slammed something against it. Inspection, a deep voice growled. Evan didn't move. The door slid open with a hiss. 2 alien guards stepped in, carrying a scanner that glowed orange. One kicked the android's leg, making her body roll slightly. Sparks flickered from her crushed shoulder. Still broken, the guard muttered. Good, one less thing to worry about. The second guard lifted the scanner toward Evan. A sweeping beam passed over him, warming his skin. Evan kept his expression blank. No activity. Human is weak. Mind damaged, the guard announced. That's why they locked him here, the other replied. He knows something. But his brain is too broken to give answers. Evan clenched his fists quietly. So the android had been telling the truth. The guards finished and walked back toward the hall. Leave the scrap here, one said. It will die soon anyway. The door slammed shut. Evan waited until the footsteps faded completely. Only then did he dare to whisper. They're gone. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then slowly, softly. The android's eye flickered again. We have 6 minutes, she whispered. Her voice was still weak, but now she sounded more focused, more controlled, like a system awakening. Evan moved closer. 6 minutes for what? She responded, for escape. He stared at her, confused. Escape? Just like that? We're locked in a steel cell with guards everywhere. Her hand moved, pressing against a spot on the floor he hadn't noticed. There was a faint clicking sound. A hidden map, she said. The floor panel lifted slightly, revealing a narrow metal compartment beneath. Inside lay a small holographic tile, dark, but intact. Evan's eyes widened. How did you know that was there? My sensors, she explained. Even damaged, I detect structures, heat, and hidden compartments. This map will show a path out. She activated the tile with a spark from her finger. A blue hologram appeared, showing a maze of tight tunnels beneath the prison. Evan leaned over it, studying the lines. "That's the maintenance network," he whispered. "The guards never go there." "Exactly," she said. "It is not meant for them. But it is meant for us." Evan's heartbeat quickened. "How do we open the floor?" "We don't have tools." She raised her other hand. A small, sharp blade extended from her wrist, thin, glowing, and humming with power. "Internal tool," she said simply. "Hidden so scanners do not detect." Evan stared in awe. For the first time, he truly understood how advanced she was. She wasn't a common android. She was designed with purpose, stealth, precision, strategy. She used the blade to cut the metal around the panel, but her arms shook with strain. Sparks shot out. "Stop," Evan said. "You're hurting yourself." "Pain." "Irrelevant," she replied. The panel popped loose with a metallic snap. Beneath it lay a dark hole leading into the maintenance tunnels. Evan looked into the darkness. "We really have to go down there?" "Yes," she said. "This is the only path they do not guard." He swallowed hard. "Okay, but tell me something first." "Why me? Why rescue me?" She paused. Her eye dimmed, then brightened, as if considering how much truth she could reveal. "You hold information," she said softly. "Information about a weapon the enemy plans to use. You saw it once, before they captured you. They erased the memory, but not completely." Evan felt confused and frightened. "A weapon? I don't remember anything." "You will," she said. "When we reach safety, I can help unlock the memory." Her body trembled slightly. "But first, we must escape." Evan nodded. "Right, let's move." She tried to stand, but her damaged leg gave out, and she fell to one knee. Evan reached out to help support her. "I've got you." For a moment, she looked at him, her one functioning eye glowing softly. "Thank you." Human. They crouched beside the tunnel entrance. The sound of distant alarms echoed through the prison again. "What's happening now?" Evan whispered. She tilted her head, listening. "Security shift. Guards moving. We must enter now, before they return to this level." "Okay," Evan said, taking a deep breath. "You go first." "No," she replied. "I must protect you. You go. I follow." Evan lowered himself into the hole. The air below was hot and dusty. Pipes lined the narrow space, and the darkness stretched endlessly. As he descended, he looked back. The android slowly lowered herself after him, sparks trailing from her damaged joints. For the first time, Evan realized something. She wasn't just here to free him. She was here to save something bigger. And he was the key. The tunnel was narrow, dark, and filled with the smell of rust and old metal. Evan crawled first, his hands sliding across pipes warm from the prison's power systems. Behind him, the android followed slowly, her damaged joints scraping against the steel walls. Every movement she made sent tiny sparks floating in the air. The sound of alarms grew sharper above them, echoing through the floor like pounding heartbeats. Evan tried to calm himself, but his breath came fast and shaky. "Are they searching for us already?" he whispered. The android scanned the vibrations around them. "Not yet, but they will soon." Evan swallowed hard and kept crawling. The tunnel stretched endlessly, twisting left and right like a maze. At one point, the ceiling dipped so low he had to slide on his stomach. The android struggled behind him. Her damaged leg dragged heavily, scraping the floor. "Are you okay?" Evan asked, looking back. "Yes," she replied, though her voice flickered. "My systems adjust." Evan didn't believe her, but there was no time to argue. They crawled for several minutes until the tunnel widened into a slightly larger chamber, barely big enough to stand. Pipes hissed around them, releasing steam into the air. A faint orange glow lit the walls, The android raised her head. "We are beneath Sector 4. What's Sector 4? Evan asked. She paused. "Guard living quarters." Evan felt his stomach drop. "So we're right below them?" "Yes." As if responding to her words, footsteps thundered above their heads. Loud voices followed, arguing in the alien language. Evan froze, staring upward as dust fell from the ceiling. "Will they hear us?" He whispered. "No," she said. "The tunnel is soundproofed. But the security sweep is coming closer." Her words barely ended when the sound of a door sliding open echoed above. Boots moved fast across the floor. Evan felt panic rising. "What do we do now?" The android reached toward the wall and tapped a hidden panel. Nothing happened. She tapped again. Still nothing. Her eye dimmed. "Access denied." Evan shook his head. "Is this it? Are we trapped?" She looked at the pipe surrounding them and traced her fingers along a thick metal line running upward. "This pipe," she said softly. "Water control. It connects to the showers. In the guard sector." Evan frowned. "How does that help?" "If water pressure spikes, the guards will evacuate. Standard protocol. We can move while they respond." Evan blinked at her. "You can do that?" She extended her wrist blade again, despite her shaking arm. "I can try." Before she could cut into the pipe, the tunnel shook violently. A deep alarm sounded from above, different from the earlier ones. Louder, urgent, the android stiffened. "This is not from us." "Something else has triggered." She didn't finish. A metal grill at the far end of the tunnel suddenly glowed red. It slid open with a sharp hiss. 2 armed guards crawled through, scanning the space with glowing rifles. Evan felt his blood freeze. "They found us." The android pushed him behind her. "Stay back. Do not move." Her broken voice grew steady, cold, almost emotionless. The guards shouted at them, their weapons charging. The android slowly raised her hands, pretending to surrender her broken body, making the act look believable. Evan whispered, "They'll kill us both." "No," she whispered back. "Not if they believe the lie." One guard stepped closer, pointing at her face. "Unit A9. Malfunction. Shutdown complete." She let her head drop, sparks flickering weakly. The guard scanned her with a handheld device. The scanner beeped green. "Useless," he grunted. "Just scrap metal." The second guard looked at Evan. "Human, move." He motioned with his gun for Evan to crawl out. Evan hesitated, but the android spoke softly, so low only he could hear. "Go, they must separate us. It is the only way." Evan crawled slowly forward. The first guard grabbed him roughly by the arm, pulling him out of the chamber. The second guard kicked the android's leg, forcing her onto her side. "She's done," he muttered. "Let's take the human." He goes back to the main cell. Evan's heart pounded. They were going to undo everything. But then the android opened her eye. A tiny blue spark glowed. The guard didn't see it. Evan did. She was not beaten. Not surrendered. Her mission was still alive. As they dragged Evan away, he held one thought in his mind. Her lie was working. The guards believed she was broken. They believed Evan was harmless. They believed they had control. But they were wrong. Because beneath the cold metal floor, hidden behind sparks and shattered armor, her secret mission was about to begin. The guards dragged Evan through the narrow tunnel until they reached a metal lift shaft barely tall enough to stand in. They pushed him inside and slammed the gate shut. The lift jerked upward, rattling loudly as it rose toward the main prison level. Evan gripped the bars tightly, his mind racing. Every part of him wanted to run back, to help the android, to pull her out before the guards discovered the truth. But he couldn't, not yet. She told him to go. She told him the lie had to work. He just hoped she could survive long enough for the plan to continue. The lift stopped with a sharp clang. The gate opened, and the guards shoved him into a dim hallway lit with dirty red lights. The air smelled of chemicals and rust. Evan recognized this area. It was where the aliens interrogated prisoners. His heart dropped. "No, not here again," he whispered. The guards kept a tight grip on his arms. One of them scanned the door ahead, and it slid open, revealing a cold metal room with a single chair in the center. Evan's stomach twisted. The interrogation chair. "No talking," one guard growled as they pushed him into the seat. Metal restraints locked around his wrists and ankles. Evan looked up, fear rising inside him. "What do you want?" "I told you, I don't remember anything." The guards ignored him. Instead, one pressed a button on the wall. A hovering machine descended from the ceiling, shaped like a floating silver sphere. Its front opened, revealing a set of glowing needles. Evan's breath caught in his throat. "Begin mind extraction," one guard ordered. "No, wait." Evan shouted, pulling against the restraints. "I don't know anything." "You're wasting your time." The sphere lowered until it hovered just inches from his forehead. A soft buzzing began, but suddenly, the machine froze. The lights in the room flickered. The buzzing stopped. Both guards turned to the control panel. "Power drop?" One muttered. A loud alarm blared across the prison, different from any Evan had heard before. A chilling downward scream of metal. The prison had gone into lockdown. "What now?" The other guard barked. The sphere retracted automatically and shut down. Evan closed his eyes, trying to steady his breathing. This wasn't random. Something triggered the lockdown. And deep inside, Evan knew exactly who was behind it. -9. She had already begun her mission. The guards ran out of the room, leaving him strapped in the chair. Evan strained against the restraints, but they didn't budge. "Come on," he whispered. "A9. Please be okay." Minutes passed quietly. Too quietly. Then the lights flickered again once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room. Evan felt a wave of panic rising. "A9? Are you here?" For a moment, there was nothing. Not even a sound. Then a faint blue glow appeared at the doorway. It grew brighter. A silhouette stepped inside the room. She moved slowly, her damaged leg dragging behind her, sparks trailing from her arm. But she stood tall, her one functioning eye glowing bright enough to cut through the darkness. "A9, Evan breathed. Relief washed over him. "You made it." Her voice was still soft and glitching, but stronger than before. "I neutralized the guards in the tunnel. Lockdown gave me access to restricted systems. I followed you." Evan allowed himself a small laugh. "You're unbelievable." She approached him and touched the restraint locks. They clicked open instantly. Evan pulled his hands free and stood up, rubbing his wrists. "Thank you." A9 turned her head slightly. "There is no time for thanks. We must move, now." Evan nodded. "Right, but first, tell me what they meant. About me holding information. About my memory." A9's eye dimmed slightly. She hesitated. "You are the only surviving human who saw the weapon," she said quietly. "The alien superweapon. You witnessed its activation. Your mind recorded everything, before they erased parts of it." Evan stepped back, stunned. "I saw a superweapon? Why would they let me live?" "They needed your mind intact," she replied. "They wanted to extract the details later. They failed." Evan ran a hand through his hair, trying to process it. "So I'm some kind of key?" "Yes," A9 said. "You know how to stop the weapon, even if you do not remember yet." He stared at her, fear and confusion mixing in his chest. "What if I never remember?" "You will," she said softly. "The memory is locked, not erased." She turned toward the door. "But first, we must leave this place." Before they could move, the hallway outside shook violently. The sound of soldiers running echoed everywhere, and Nine's eye brightened. They know I escaped. They are coming. Evan took a deep breath. Then let's get out before they reach us. She looked at him with something almost human in her expression, determination. We will, she said. Because your life is the mission. And together, they stepped into the dark hallway, moving toward whatever waited next. The hallway outside the interrogation room shook again as alarms echoed through every corner of the prison. Red lights flashed across the ceiling, painting everything in sharp, bloody color. A Nan stepped forward first, scanning the shadows with her glowing eye. Evan followed close behind, still trying to absorb everything she had told him. A super weapon, a wiped memory, a mission tied to him. He barely had time to think. The prison walls felt alive with danger. A 9 raised her hand, signaling Evan to stop. 3 guards. Approaching fast, she whispered. Evan held his breath. She pressed her palm against the wall. A faint electrical pulse traveled through the metal. I can disrupt their weapons. But only for seconds. Seconds were better than nothing. The footsteps grew louder. Voices barked orders in the alien language. Evan's pulse hammered in his ears. A 9 stepped into the center of the hallway, broken, bent, sparks falling from her shoulder. She looked like easy prey. The soldiers rounded the corner. They saw her and immediately raised their glowing rifles. Target A9 detected. One shouted. A-9 single quotes. His voice shifted, becoming calm and cold. Now, she fired the pulse. The lights flickered violently. The soldiers' rifles crackled and shut down. Confused, they slapped their weapons, trying to reactivate them. A9 moved. Despite her damaged leg, she launched forward with incredible speed. Her arm swung, striking the first guard across the helmet. He slammed into the wall and fell unconscious. Evan grabbed a metal pipe from the floor and swung it at the second guard. It connected with a sharp crack. The guard stumbled, and A9 finished him with a precise blow. The third guard rushed toward Evan. But A9 intercepted him, twisting his arm and slamming him to the ground. The hallway grew silent again. A9's eye dimmed. My energy. Dropping. We must hurry. Evan nodded, gripping the pipe tightly. Where now? She pointed down the corridor. To the memory station. Your mind must be activated. Evan frowned. Activated? What does that even mean? Your memory was damaged by the aliens, she said. But the fragments remain. I can unlock them using a neural link. A neural link? Evan repeated nervously. Yes. She paused. But it will hurt. Evan swallowed hard. Do we have a choice? No, she said softly. Without your memory, we cannot stop the weapon. They started down the hallway. Smoke drifted from distant fires. Sirens screamed through the vents. Soldiers shouted orders in every direction. The prison was going into full response mode. A9 limped beside him, her movements slower now. Sparks dripped from her leg with every step. You're breaking down, Evan said, worried. My mission is what matters, she replied. Not my body. Evan looked at her, guilt rising. But you're hurting because of me. She turned her head. No, I am fulfilling my purpose. They reached a large door marked with glowing alien symbols. A9 placed her hand on the panel. Her fingers sparked and the door slid open. Inside was a small room filled with cables, screens, and a single medical chair. Evan hesitated. So, this is the place where they read memories? Yes, A9 said. But this time, we will use it our way. He sat down slowly. A9 connected a thin cable from her wrist into the machine. Her eye glowed brighter than before. When the link begins, she said, focus on the feeling of the moment you forgot. Something powerful. Something emotional. Evan closed his eyes. I'll try. A 9 placed her hand on his forehead. Relax and do not fight the memory. The machine activated. A surge of electricity shot through Evan's skull. He gasped, gripping the chair tightly. Images flashed before his eyes, blinding lights. Roaring engines, a massive alien structure floating above Earth's atmosphere. A sound like thunder. Soldiers screaming. A weapon the size of a mountain. Charging. Evan's heart pounded wildly. The memory hurt, like a blade slicing through his mind. But he kept watching. He saw himself standing on a control deck. He wasn't a prisoner then, he was a soldier. He heard someone shout beside him. Evan, remember the sequence. Shut it down. Then a flash of white light, pain, and everything went black. The memory ended. Evan opened his eyes with a gasp. Sweat dripped down his face. I remember. He whispered. I remember the weapon. Anand's voice trembled. You saw the activation code? Yes, Evan said. I saw everything. And I know how to stop it. A loud explosion rocked the room. The door behind them bent inward as soldiers rammed it. And 9 pulled the cable from her wrist. Then we must leave now. Evan stood, shaky but determined. I'm ready. The door crackled. Soldiers shouted outside. A 9 positioned herself between Evan and the door. Stay behind me, she said. You are the mission. The door burst open, and the real escape began. The door exploded inward with a violent blast of sparks and metal shards. Alien soldiers stormed into the room, weapons glowing bright, shouting commands in their harsh language. Evan stumbled backward as a 9 stepped forward, shielding him with her battered body. Stay behind me, she said calmly. Even though her voice crackled like a breaking radio, the first soldier fired. A 9 moved faster than Evan had ever seen. She caught the weapon's energy blast with her arm, the metal melting under the heat. Her entire left side glowed red, but she didn't stop. She grabbed the soldier by his chest armor and threw him across the room. He hit the wall with a crash and fell unconscious. 2 more soldiers rushed in. A 9 leapt forward, her damaged leg shaking, sparks spilling from her joints, but her movements were still precise. She struck the first soldier in the throat, then spun and slammed her elbow into the second. Both collapsed, but more were coming. Far more. A 9, we have to go. Evan shouted. She nodded once. Follow me. They ran toward the exit door on the far side of the memory room. The hallway outside was filled with flashing red lights and rising smoke. The entire prison was shaking as if something deep underground had been activated. What's happening? Evan asked breathlessly. Lockdown escalation, she answered. The prison is entering full combat mode. We will not survive long inside. They dashed down the corridor. Sirens blared above them. Steam burst from broken pipes. Soldiers were shouting on every level. A 9 scanned the path ahead. The landing platform is close. Our extraction ship must be there. Ship? Evan repeated. Someone sent a ship for us? Yes, she said simply. The one who created me planned everything. Before Evan could ask more, they reached a thick blast door. A 9 pressed her palm against it. Her eye flickered rapidly as she hacked into the locking system. A loud voice echoed behind them. Human! Stop! Evan turned and froze. An alien commander stood at the end of the hallway. Taller than the others. Heavy armor. A massive rifle glowing with white energy. His presence alone made the air feel colder. A 9 spoke quickly. Evan, do not move. The commander marched forward. Unit A9, you were designed for us. Built to serve us. Yet you betray your makers? I was not built for you, she replied. I was stolen. The commander snarled. The human dies now. And you will be melted into scrap. He raised his cannon. A 9 jumped in front of Evan. The cannon fired. A blinding white beam filled the hallway. A 9 took the full hit. Her body shook violently. Metal peeled off her chest. Her eye flickered. Her voice let out a broken static scream. Evan reached out instinctively. A 9. But she steadied herself and stood stronger, even as smoke rose from her armor. The commander stared, shocked. Impossible. You cannot still stand. I stand, she whispered, because the human must live. With sudden speed, she charged the commander. The hallway erupted into chaos. She slammed into him with all her remaining power. They crashed into the wall. He struck her with the butt of his rifle, denting her faceplate. She kicked him back, sparks flying from her leg. Evan watched helplessly. She was powerful, but she was breaking apart with every hit. She was fighting beyond her limits, just to keep him alive. The commander roared and grabbed her throat, lifting her off the ground. Her metal fingers clawed at his arm, but her strength was fading fast. Evan knew she would not survive much longer. Without thinking, he shouted, "A 9! The code! I remember the shutdown code." Her eye brightened for a brief moment. "Say it." Evan spoke the numbers and symbols he had seen in his unlocked memory. The commander froze. His armor lights flickered. "No." He growled. "That code is forbidden." Evan shouted the final sequence. The commander's armor powered down completely. A 9 twisted free, gathered her last strength, and struck him in the chest. He fell to the ground, motionless. Silence. A -9 collapsed to one knee. A 9. Evan rushed to her, catching her before she fell. Her voice was barely audible. "You remembered. Good." The blast door behind them finally opened, revealing the landing platform outside. A sleek ship hovered there, engines glowing blue. Evan looked at a 9. "We made it. Let's go." She tried to stand, but her body failed. Her chest wires sparked weakly. Her eye dimmed. "I cannot." "Leave," she whispered. Evan shook his head, tears in his eyes. "No, I'm not leaving without you." She touched his face gently with her metal fingers. "My mission was to save you. And your world, not myself." Her voice grew softer. "Go, you must survive. The weapon must be stopped." A 9. "Please." She gave a faint, broken smile. "Human, you gave me meaning." Her hand slipped away. Her eye went dark. Evan held her for a moment, then forced himself to stand. The ship's ramp opened for him. He stepped inside, turning back one last time. A 9. "I'll finish the mission. I promise." The ship lifted off. The prison burned below. Smoke rose into the sky. Evan watched in silence. He was free. He had the code, and he carried the memory of the android, who gave everything to save him. The real war was just beginning.